obviously, a year has passed since a year or so has passed since Justin Gaethje beat Tony Ferguson and ended his 12 fight win streak that he laid claim to, and obviously this was off the eve of Khabib and Tony Ferguson trying to fight for the fifth time. And there's one thought that actually crossed my mind when I watched the Khabib versus Justin Gaethje fight when they're fighting for the title. Obviously, Gaethje had the interim title and Khabib had the full title. The way that Khabib absolutely got into the guard of Justin Gaethje and managed to actually tie him up, and managed to actually get through his guard and put him into a submission. Regardless of what you say about Tony Ferguson, I'm not saying he's the best submission artist in the lightweight division. I think that goes to Charles Oliveira. There was a time where his submission game was incredible. Like the fact that there's fighters like the likes of Kevin Lee, Gleason Tebow, and other fighters that he's managed to submit under his pressure and his jiu-jitsu, which was quite respectable at the time. You can make a case if the old Tony Ferguson fought Justin Gaethje, I don't think he would have stayed on his I don't think he would have stayed striking as much as he did. So I'm talking about the prime Tony Ferguson before he done the 2 weight cuts when he was on his 12 fight win streak. That version of Tony Ferguson, I think if he fought Justin Gaethje, when he was getting outboxed on his feet the way he did, I think he would have done what he did in his previous fights against the likes of Lando Venata and Kevin Lee, where when he gets outboxed on his feet, when he's getting outlanded on his feet, he tries to do a roll, and he tries to get his opponents on a literally on the ground to submit them. Like he tries to do Brazilian jiu-jitsus and submission holds and stuff like that to actually change the tempo of the fight. One characteristic of Tony Ferguson was that he used to always change levels. He used to transition from being a stand-up fighter that was pressuring you to an aggressive submission artist that used to put you into submission holds and actually get a win through that way. So and on top of that, he was a fighter that was great from a below position, so he could literally stay below and still cause a lot of damage with elbows and such. So my thought is this, for whatever reason, I just don't understand why. I feel like if Tony Ferguson took Justin Gaethje to the ground that he usually does, when he used to do them rolls and such, and he used to when he was getting outboxed on the feet, he would try to get them to the ground. If he did that, there may be a likelihood that he could have beaten Justin Gaethje, if you think about it, because that's basically where his strength lies. When he's getting outboxed on the feet, when he's getting outstriked, he always goes onto the ground, and he always tries to get his opponent onto the ground to actually beat them, like to get them submitted. And if you look at Justin Gaethje's, obviously he was up against Khabib, who's an incredible submission artist when he gets you onto the ground and very strong. But I think a prime Tony Ferguson, if he got Justin Gaethje onto the ground, the fact that Khabib managed to rip through his defense and managed to get top guard so easily, I think Tony Ferguson could have done the same thing. I mean, he's done it in the past many times. He's done it against Gleason Tebow. He done it against Kevin Lee. He done it against who else? Lando Venata. He's done it against several fighters where he's managed to get them onto the ground and managed to choke them out. So yeah, that's just a food for thought. Tell me what you think. Do you think if he tried getting Justin Gaethje onto the ground, he would have submitted him, or do you think the beatdown would have just continued? It did not look like Tony Ferguson in there, because Tony Ferguson is a fighter that characteristically likes to change levels and likes to go from standing on his feet to going to the ground. And of course, Justin Gaethje is not that sophisticated of a Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist. This isn't like a Charles Oliveira. I mean, Khabib is showing that if you get him onto the ground, his submission game is quite non-existent in terms of defense. He doesn't really know how to defend against submissions as well as other fighters on his roster, like the likes of a Charles Oliveira and such. So yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts below. Do you think if Tony Ferguson tried changing levels and tried to get him onto the ground, he might have had more success? Or do you think it was just written on the wall? There's no way he was going to beat Justin Gaethje, even if he got it onto the ground. There was a time in the fight, obviously he landed an uppercut that dropped Justin Gaethje before the first or second round ended. And also he managed to get him onto the ground again when he done this karate sweep. So it just didn't look like Tony Ferguson in there. Like his the energy, the way he carried himself just wasn't right. So yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts below. Just the food for thought. Obviously we can't change the past. What's happened is happened. It was always inevitable. It was always going to be like this. Justin Gaethje was going to beat Tony Ferguson that night. But I'm just thinking, if you tried to get him onto the ground, if you tried doing a Kimura, if you tried doing the rolls that he likes to do, I forgot what the rolls are called, but when he transitions from standing, then he does a roll and gets them into a leg lock. If he would have tried doing that, do you think he could have submitted Justin Gaethje if he tried getting it onto the ground? Usually, Tony Ferguson is known to be like an unpredictable fighter who does things like that. He'll go from standing to from standing on his feet to actually doing a transition and getting fighters onto the ground. So yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts below. It probably doesn't change the outcome anyway. Maybe he was just past his prime at that point. Maybe the 2 weight cuts was what caused him to be so not himself when he was in there against the likes of Justin Gaethje. But I'm just thinking, it's just a food for thought. Maybe it doesn't make a difference anyway, because in his last 3 fights, obviously he's lost. I'm gonna make a separate video talking about where does Tony Ferguson go from here now. But yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts below, and I've got a lot more content coming your way. Like and subscribe. Peace out.